Okay, what I'll do is just explain how I would remove the body, which is like the reverse way of which it's assembled, or the best way I found. I've rebodied mine. This is the 2 times, so that's 3 times the body has been on. It's not coming off again. First of all, the main side panels, I'll use this as an example, hook over the top of the space frame, and the reason for that is that these panels hold the inner tub. I can get it on there. The inner tub in place. So when you remove any, the sides and the back, you have to lift them straight up to clear that. If you try and lever them, you'll snap the top off. So you imagine it looks like that. It hooks over each panel. So the first one you want to do is the rear. Now my rear looks, you have to bear in mind that this has been highly modified, so it's completely different. I do not have the sticky out bumper style rear light holder rear, but it's basically the same panel. It joins around here, halfway along the rear wing. That's where it splits. It splits around here somewhere. Don't know now because mine is fully bonded. When you get the kit, the rear and the sides are two separate panels, and they gave you a little aluminium strip to cover it, which I originally put on, but it looked crap, to be honest. It was just a piece of aluminium down there to cover the gap up. If yours has got that on, you need to remove that to separate the 2 panels. If it hasn't, it won't matter. So it's split either side, and it should be riveted along the bottom edge, which yours would be right down here somewhere, along the bottom edge only. Don't usually have to put anything on the top, just on the inner edge, like that. Once it's in place, once they're all in place. So pop rivets along the bottom, possibly something along the top, but then that rear panel should split there. Lift it straight upwards. And you got the 2 sides. There again, it should only be riveted along the bottom edge. I've put additional ones in the top, but I'll explain why I've put additional ones along the top in a minute. And then under here, where mine changes a little bit from yours, if you bear with me a second. So I now have a lift up bonnet. The side panel, you can just see it in there, should rivet onto the chassis just here, this triangular area. But you can see how short mine was when I built it the first time, second time, and whatever. So I had to put some filler strip in there. They don't supply you with any of that, so it may just be riveted there up. And again, there'll be a split across here somewhere. This edge here, and this is additional for mine for the doors. But it splits just across there. You don't have this. This is part of the bonnet. This comes down here along this piece here. Should be just riveted along the bottom. Now, same on the other side. So rear, both sides. And that clears that. The last panel is the bulkhead. The bulkhead, mine fitted bad. I fitted it once, a couple of years later I rebodied it again. In the end I split mine along here and created 2 panels, so the upper panel and the bulkhead panel here, because the fit was so bad. but yours is one piece, and it'll come down and it'll be attached along the edge. Should be, this is where it should have been riveted, is down the edge here, some parts across the bottom, and possibly along this edge here. There shouldn't be any rivets anywhere else apart from the very top edge on the inside along the top edge of the top bar. Nothing down the edge, just across the top, down the sides and across the bottom. The floor, once you've taken the back and two sides off, the floor tub should lift out as one thing. You have to remove the handbrake, you have to squeeze all the stuff in here. I'm just converting mine back from coils to air, because I'm old now. You can see this was, I did a bit of hill climbing and sprinting in this, so it's been modified a little bit. I want to know about the roll cage. The roll cage is actually a Hillman Imp roll cage. Fits extremely well. Had to put some extra supports in on the chassis on the floor, obviously, but size wise, you probably couldn't have made it any better. Got additional crossbar for my revised steering column. But, yeah, I used to have a little quick change gear stick on here. That's part of the linkage there. Yeah, the tub then, the inner tub should come out as one piece. So reverse order is tub in, well, bulk, you can do the bulkhead first, it doesn't matter, but the tub in. Basically the tub doesn't need securing because it fits so well, so tight because of the side panels holding it on. And then you just can put some additional rivets in. I put more in than they recommended because of the stiffness I wanted the chassis to be. There's two kick panels that fitted on the outside here. They're riveted all the way around the edge. I had a little filler panel down there. But basically that's about it. Now when I rebodied it, inside of this, in this channel all the way around, I found it very not finished very well because this is the mould surface and the inner is just the layup. I cleaned that out all the way around and test fitted it, and I made the body go down another 10mm just by doing it, which is why I've managed to be able to get rivets along here, because before, if I'd have tried to rivet it here, it would have just been fresh air. It wasn't actually down on the chassis rail. It was merely, you know, touching in places. So I said I cleaned that channel out just with a bit of emery, took the lumps and bumps out and test fitted it, and I said the body went down another 10mm at least. The other thing is that when you've done your chassis and had a look at it, and you're ready to rebody, get a good quality mastic and put a thin bead on the parts of the chassis where the body panels will touch. Thin bead of mastic, certainly along the top, and then when you squeeze it down and rivet it up, it will make it extremely solid. Not all tinny, rattly or horrible. You might find if you give yours a tap it'll be quite loose here. But if you just do that little thin bead of mastic on all the little things, not silicone, get a proper mastic so that it'll hold it. And once it's bonded on there, it won't, you know, it'll make it extremely stiff, and also it'll help the fact that you don't need so many rivets in it then. Now I think you said that you've got bolts across the bottom here. It's only 20mm tube. If they've drilled all the way through and bolted it, that's probably not very good, apart from letting all the you know, you've got more holes for all the rubbish to get in there. I would seriously just spot weld all the holes up, grind the front edge down so it's nice and flush again, and rivet it. Try and pick different positions, and if you are going to rivet it, use blind rivets. Blind rivet is the one on the right, a normal pop rivet on the left. The blind rivet doesn't drop anything inside the rail, so you're not going to have all these little bits floating around, especially when you're riveting up here or at the top edge. You're not going to have all these bits rattling around in the tubes. So get some 3/16 blind rivets and rivet it back up with that. I think that's about it. I say that's how I do it. There's one of these that was in Wales, and somebody disassembled it and they just chopped all the body up. It was the car's never been seen again now, so never heard any more about it. But you don't need to. It's just 3 panels, that's all, and it comes apart quite easily. If it has been bonded up here, like mine, then you should be able to see it. You can see it on mine, it cracks. See? Just on the top there. I've been jacking it up on corners and things like that, and it's it's that stiff now. It's just, it has to find somewhere. So you can see where that line comes. It probably comes just off of centre somewhere down here. That's where you need to split it. If you want to bond it like mine, and I didn't do it as well as I could have done. You won't have all these lumps inside here. That's because I've got up and down suspension on it rather than the subframe. If you want to bond it, then all you've got to do is get the panels test fitted. Make sure you're happy with them, with the way they come down. They should come down to the bottom edge of the chassis rail on each panel. The back one's a bit floppy. You can move the back up and down a bit where that bumper bit is. But then if you've got it all right and you're happy with it, just pop rivets and plates across the joints, just, you know, out of the way so they don't hit any of the metal to hold it together. Then you could lift it off, bond it all and drop it in as one panel. It will go in as one panel, the sides and the back. In fact, when they built the first one, it had no joins. They've simply done it like that to make the body easier to get out of the mould, not to put it on the car. But yeah, you can do that, and then you can bond the edge nice and strong. The other thing is, if you've got any damage on it, it's so easy to repair because they're just flat panels. You know, most of it doesn't have contours apart from the you know, these bits, and they won't get damaged. But if you've got damage on the edge, you want to widen the arches like mine or do anything like that, it's dead simple. Just get a piece of ordinary flat wood, put some packing tape on it for a release, and just clamp it to the panel, the flat panel, wherever it is, especially on that bottom edge. If it's damaged or you're trying to re-rivet it along that bottom edge, just get a piece of wood with some packing tape on one side, packing tape up against there, clamp it to it, feather off this edge first, and clamp it to it, and then just bond some more glass fibre on. It's that easy because they're all flat. It's the reason I got the kit in the first place, because the panels are so easy to modify. Yeah, have any more problems, by all means just contact me. So it looks a bit different at the front. You can probably see a bit better on this one. I haven't got all bits and pieces, but see, it was miles off of fitting, and just barely touched there. That's where the original heater is meant to suck air in through there from the engine into compartment. Not a very good idea. They just suggested you cut holes in here and sucked air in there. When I did run a heater on mine, I left this sealed, as you can see, and I just spaced the heater down a bit, so it worked on basically on a resoak method all of the time. Yeah, your bulkhead won't have that in it. That's something I added mine for extra clearance for some twin SUs that I had on there that had it was a bit easier, a bit more space. Okay, I'll whiz this across to you now. Any questions, just come straight back to me.